Hey YouTube, it's Magician34, and this is the top 5 or so of Metal Raiders. This set had an amazing impact on the game. It really helped solidify the early metagame of Yu-Gi-Oh! And many of its cards are still influential even today. In fact, I've got 3 honorable mentions, ranking in at sort of invisible honorable mention number 8. It's Mask of Darkness. This card just flips, gets you a trap out of the grave. It's a very powerful effect, and it had a lot of impact and still sees play, and it's on and off the ban list now and then, which is usually a sign of a good card. Ranking in next, Mirror Force. This card's been on and off as well. It's a kind of a wait-and-see sort of effect and doesn't give you a lot of immediate satisfaction, but when played patiently and applied at the right time, this card's ability to Raigeki your opponent, sort of as a surprise almost, can be very powerful, and this can easily be a game-changing card, and it deserves a mention. And the last honorable mention, ranking in at sort of number 6, is Magician of Faith. She nearly made 5th slot, but I gave that to another card over her. However, the ability to pull back a spell from the grave, any kind of spell at all, is incredibly powerful. And it has always made her one of the most useful cards in the game, and it's why she remains on the ban list even today. Well, that and the existence of Metamorphosis, to turn her into Thousand Eyes Restrict, among other plays. But obviously, as we've seen with other cards like Dark Magician of Chaos and cousins like that, the ability to pull a spell back from the grave is very powerful in this game because of the speed at which spells can be played and how powerful that can be. Speed is often everything in Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, coming in at number 5, in top 5, Solemn Judgment. It's the power to say no to almost anything your opponent can do, to stop any summon, be it normal or special, or the effect of any spell or trap. Just straight up negate it. Yes, it costs half your life, but this is one of those quality over quantity kind of things. And as many control players will tell you in Yu-Gi-Oh! And in other card games, the only life point that really matters is your last one. And this card certainly exemplifies that theory of control. And so many times this card, as having it at 3 copies in your deck has proved in the past, running 3, paying half your life points many times, even using Mask of Darkness to bring it back, isn't usually much of a problem. If your opponent can't get anything onto the field, then they can't do much to pressure those diminishing life points. Easily one of the most potent cards ever printed, especially in the counter trap family, if not the most potent counter trap ever printed. Ranking in at number 4, he has yet to really get seen completely out of the game. He's been at 1 for a very long time, Sangan. His versatility is just so hard to beat. He belongs in almost every deck because there are so many 1500 and under attack monsters, and the ability to pull anyone from your deck is just devastating. And this guy is a glutton for punishment, easy to kill or even kill yourself. And he's dark, which fits with many other themes. You can retrieve him off Mystic Tomato, he's been fed to Dark Armed Dragon. I mean, you name it, he can do all kinds of stuff. Highly utilitarian. I mean, he even belongs in themes like plants that have nothing to do with dark. He has very much had a long and successful career as a card. Since the second set, this guy has been around, plaguing people left and right. Card number 3, though, blows him out of the water, and that's Witch of the Black Forest. She's essentially a reverse Sangan. Instead of getting 1500 or less attack, she gets 1500 or less defense. Her stats are slightly higher, but that's usually not a problem, although occasionally, set in defense mode, she actually does end up not dying in battle, but in recent metagames, actually, that hasn't really been much of a problem, not that she'd know, because she's been banned for quite some time. And that's just as well, because she basically gets almost everything that Sangan would target, but can also get much bigger things, like, say, your 1 copy of Dark Armed Dragon, for example. She's intensely powerful. I mean, as I said before, it pretty much sums it up to say she's almost everything Sangan is, just more. That kind of incredible utility from the deck is something that few cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Really offer. Searching the deck is actually a pretty uncommon effect, especially with this kind of versatility, and that's what puts her at spot number 3. Spot number 2, Heavy Storm. It's the ability to destroy everything your opponent can stop you with. It clears the field, essentially, for 1 turn so that you can make a big push and kill your opponent. This usually was the card you would see at the beginning of a turn that would be your last when your opponent played it. This is the thing you hold back or even use Gold Sarcophagus to search for. That means when you play it, you're almost certain to win. That kind of power to push through to win the game is exactly what makes this super powerful. The fact that you blow your own stuff away rarely matters. However, card number 1, even more devastating. Change of Heart. the ability to take any monster away from your opponent straight up for an entire turn, regardless of position or anything else. It's just fantastically powerful, and a lot of players who joined more recently probably don't fully appreciate just how devastating this card is. But as we start releasing new concepts that didn't exist back in the days of Metal Raiders, like Synchros and Ixies, it just gets better and better. Even though it goes back to your opponent at the end of the turn, it rarely matters. They've either lost the game by that point or you used it to summon something else. And it straight up -1s your opponent, really, in the long run, so it's just devastating. And easily the most powerful card in this set. And so, those are the top 5 of Metal Raiders. If you have any comments, disagreements, feel free to voice them down below. Until next time, rate, comment, subscribe, and check out my channel for more cool videos.